Hey to the people, what's going on? It's me, Chase. This is No Chaser TV, the podcast with Chase Brown. And baby, if you like whipped cream toppings on your banana split, I got a
Oh,
special treat for you. Okay, yes, I went back. I have the THE in all capitals, Drew Sidora here with us in the building, well, in the virtual building. Drew, how are you?
I am so blessed. I feel good. I'm excited to be here with you.
Thank you so much for coming in and joining
Yeah.
us. You have had such a phenomenal season on The Real Housewives of Atlanta so far, but such a phenomenal season in life. And I'm so excited to talk about that with you from your music and everything in between, the movies, the television of it all. But before we do, I want to go ahead and get us into this experience. So I have, now that they're saying that they're bringing back allegedly on 106 in Park, we have our own No Chaser TV countdown. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, because you just, I know a lot of people have become familiar with you through the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but hello, the resume resumes because you've been around for a long time working and giving us moments throughout popular culture and Black culture itself at large that have resonated with us for years. Like, low key, we still mad at you about the game. So, like, let's just get that out of the open.
What we need to cancel that. That can't possibly be a real thing anymore. I know I
They're still
see
mad.
it, so I'm like, oh wow.
They're
But
still mad.
I did see something like hashtag cancel the Drew Sidora hate. So I feel like we need to promote that.
Okay, well, we can
It
definitely
needs to
go ahead and promote that. So I'm going to give you 5 moments, right? You're not going to know which one it is that I'm going to give you. And you're going to rate that moment 1 through 5, and then we'll see where they end up. Okay. So the first moment I'm going to go ahead and
five
give
being
you, 5 being like iconic, but not the most iconic, and number 1 being iconic. But when I give
okay.
you the moment, you're going to go ahead and rank it. So I'm going to give you one moment, and you'll say, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 4, that's a 5, like that. And then we'll see where we end up.
Okay.
Okay. So the first moment here I have, well, let's just, since I did the intro, the infamous girlfriend's whipped cream on the banana split moment, and the song subsequently, all of that. Where do you rank that 1 through 5?
Say that again. You were breaking up a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where do you rank the girlfriend's whipped cream on banana split moment? 1 through 5.
Oh my God. That is hilarious. I mean, Girlfriends is legendary. Mara Brock and Kill, they're calling back for a reboot. So I would say that's like a number two.
Oh, okay. Number 2. All right. Now,
Number
this is
one
the one.
is most iconic, right?
Yeah, number 1 is most iconic. So that's number
Yeah,
2.
I would give it a two. I would give it a
Okay.
two.
So that's number 2. Now, the moment that has shook the Real Housewives to its core this season, did you sell it? What do you, what did you,
That's that has to be number one because that's all I keep hearing about. That was like still going on the internet days after. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a one. I guess.
that is, I mean, it's still going on to the internet now. Like that moment, did you sell it? The cat
Oh my
takes sip
god!
of the lemon drop.
It was that tequila. It gets you every
Yeah, the
time.
tequila, baby, got you to talking. Okay. Now here's another one. The past, your performance in the past. What do you rank that? Because I was gagged at the end of that movie, honey. Y'all ate that.
I don't know how to rate myself. I mean, I don't know. I'll give that a three.
Okay. All right.
Because it
Now,
was, I don't even know how to rate it, but there's the TLC biopic, and then
yes.
there's in well within that, right? So I got to leave space for that type of thing. But I'll
Mhm.
give it a three because I feel like it was still on the more iconic side.
Now I'm gonna get you. We just talked about cancel the Drew hate, but the infamous moment when Derwin cheated on Melanie with Drew, quote unquote, Drew Sidora. What do you rank that?
Number one, because
Wait,
that
now.
it's 10 years later, guys. Like, let's not forget, Derwin lied to Drew. So, how many of us have been lied to by somebody we dated or we? Thank you. The whole world. So I am no different than you. So
Yes.
let's move past it, guys. You know, in life, Tia and I are friends. Pooch, it's all love. I did my job. Come on, like let's let it go. Let's let it go. I was a victim too. I was lied to. So come on, let's be real
Okay.
about it.
Now I don't want to trigger you, but your reunion performance of "Throw It Away" at the season 15 reunion, where do you rank that?
Oh gosh, number 5. I want to throw that away. I want to throw
Okay.
that away.
Okay. So now, just based off of your moments, what you gave us, you have Derwin and Drew Sidora at number 1. Did you sell it number 2? Girlfriends and the whipped cream has moved down now to number 3. So that means that the past is now at number 4, and then number 5 was that. And the reason why we want to do that is because just for those who listen that only are like Housewives listeners or only are like music listeners, because we encompass a lot on No Chaser TV. That's just a broad range, but it doesn't encapsulate everything that you've done and given to us in the entertainment business. But I want to let you know that we see you and we thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. I
You're
love
welcome.
it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because a lot of it can get lost, in the sauce when we're talking about television, and a lot of it, people tend to easily forget what you gave when there's a season that they love you on a show or they don't like you on a show. They tend to forget a lot of that stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that we saw it all. We've been there from I don't know about the beginning because you've been doing this since 8, right? But we've been there since at least 2005.
Hello. I'll take it. That's all good.
Okay.
That's love.
All right.
I love
So I want to congratulate you on your new album. I heard that you said that it's almost approaching gold, which we congratulate you for that. It's definitely going platinum in my household and a couple of households that I know of, though. But congratulations on your new album. Tell us how it feels
yes.
to finally get, as you like to put it, the truth out in the melody. Like, how does that feel for you?
Yes, it I mean it's so celebratory because I've been doing, like, if you know, I've been doing music, like you said, since Girlfriend, since Step Up. Pretty much my whole life. People don't even know, like, I was in a singing group at age 13. I've been signed to so many different labels. It's just like, but to finally put out a body of work, it's a huge accomplishment. And I'm just so proud of it. I feel like before it was like, let's make some great music, let's make a hit record. But the thing with this album, why it's so near and dear to my heart, is because it's really my life story. It is my journey, um, the good, the bad, the ugly, which everybody knows, So it was a productive way to put all my pain and my feelings and my emotions into, music. Music is so powerful. It can take you back to like a point in time in your life that has a great memory. It can make you dance. It can heal your heart if you're going through a breakup. And in that case, that's what it did for me. It really was like my therapy.
Yeah, I see that you also said that the studio became a safe space for those who are listening that want to create
Yeah.
music. How integral is that into the body of work that you end up putting out? Like, you have to be comfortable in the space with the people you're working with to trust them that you guys are all put together something like you did, because, like I said, it's gone platinum in a lot of households. So,
Yeah. Give me my trophy. Look, I receive it. I appreciate all of the love, all of the streams, all of the listens, all of the vibes. Um, because yes, like, I've been in the music business and the entertainment industry my whole life. So obviously there have been situations I've encountered where I wasn't always most comfortable, and as
mm,
a woman in this business, you probably have heard stories, but it's real. You're faced with things. In order to get and gain success, you have to give something. And so for me, that was a non-negotiable. However, there were times that I was placed in situations where I was always wasn't comfortable or feeling supported. So when people say, "Oh, Dennis, why Dennis?" I'm like, well, let's be clear. I didn't know Dennis did music either, so I was caught off guard like a lot of other people. But it was really truly about the music. When he started sending my manager the music, it was the music. It was like, I need to sing these songs. This is actually speaking to my situation. And like I said, Dennis has been nothing but professional. As far as when I was in the studio, I had my setup. I felt like I had people that believed in me, that were waiting for me at a time where I could barely get out of the bed. When it was
mm.
very difficult very challenging time for me in what I've been going through in my divorce. It was like to have people rooting for you, to have people saying, no, 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 you gonna get out this bed and we about to make it happen. I believe in you. That meant so much to me at that time. It is really a testament for me of the strength that I was able to pull through. And I share this with women all the time. If you find yourself going through heartbreak, you find yourself going through a similar situation, I feel like, well, you kind of give up. You're like, well, I'm gonna just climb back in this bed. And for me, it was like, no, you got this session at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I got somewhere I gotta be. And that was the motivation that I needed during that time.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought up Dennis, because when you say, we were talking about safe spaces like the studio and all of the deals that you've been through in the past. By the way, I know that you were signed to Slip and Slide. I'm from Florida, so we know all about Slip and Slide records in Florida. Okay. So when you said Slip and Slide, I was
Come
like,
on, Ted
what?
Lucas, shout out.
Yeah. But when you're saying
Yes.
safe spaces, and then Dennis, wants to collaborate with you on this project, um, help you get through this time period in your life. And then Portia is showing people text messages, alleging that, you may have offered the box for some beats, the cat or whatever. Um, how does that make you feel, knowing that you haven't always had safe spaces in music,
Listen, that to me was just unbelievable and laughable, to be honest,
Yeah.
because really, like no one was buying it, no one was believing it, because these alleged text messages, has anyone seen them? Because our show is good for throwing up a receipt. We can post a receipt. I want to see this alleged text. And Dennis did clear that text up. He cleared it right on up, and she didn't give any pushback in that moment. So I just feel like she was kind of dragging. She was dragging this alleged text message that doesn't exist, by the way, because it never happened. And Dennis actually said that never happened. So for me, that was just like, that was a try. That was a try hard of trying to make an issue where there wasn't one. And so, yeah, it was actually a testament against what Dennis has been. He's never been unprofessional with me. There's never been lines crossed that were disrespectful. This was a working relationship, no different than when I worked with Todd. Okay, I show up on time. I am the girl that works.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking anybody else. I get their money, but I'm the girl that's been working since the 8th day. When they call me sis, come to work, she gonna go to work.
Yeah.
And that's just who I am and who I've been. So, she tries to come against my character, but shout out to the fans, because the fans are smart. And they see everything, and they starting to catch stuff. I think in the past, watching the show, it was just like you believed everything you heard. But now, watching the show, you see the fans are clocking everybody's tea,
Everybody's tea is getting
truth,
clocked.
and you just can't get away with showing up being fake anymore. And
Yeah. Well, now, as you're saying these things, Portia's also said that she kind of just lets it go eventually, as we're now through the midway part of the season. She's going to eventually let this go because she feels like this was a stunt pulled by you guys to promote the album. So if it was a stunt pulled by you guys to promote the album, and now you're saying that the text message doesn't exist, then how do you feel about her and Shamia showing this this text message, this quote unquote text message, to Ralph, and what that could have potentially done as you guys are going through your separation process?
Yeah, it was definitely hurtful, to see the great lengths that women who a certain woman is going through the same situation I'm going through. So it was disheartening to see that, okay, we're going through the same situation and you know how it feels. How would you like it if I went and sat down with Simon? Because essentially that would be more of a fair game. Me filming with Dennis, who you have a great relationship with, y'all are close, everyone gets along, we've all been friends. That's not the same. Going through what I'm going through is similar to what she's going through with Simon. And so I would have never thought she would have done that, because I myself would have never sat down with Simon knowing that even though we may not be getting along right now, I would never wish hurt upon another woman, in the form of a divorce, because it is so painful. It is like grieving a loved one who you've lost.
Yeah.
It is really something that I don't think you should ever take lightly. And so the way that they're playing these games, it is hurtful. However, again, none of it's true, because I didn't know Portia was coming back to the show.
Mm,
So Portia was brought back to deliver a lifestyle that she could not deliver. She did not deliver what the fans wanted to see.
yeah.
It's not giving the storyline that everyone was hoping for. It felt very flat. It was giving flop. However, me, y'all are seeing my life play out. I'm never short on story. I mean, I always have a lot going on, and it's not always what I want to showcase, but it's been my life since day one. I've always showed my real. And so this is just me living my life, and y'all are just following me along my life, and wherever the cameras catch me is where the cameras catch me. So I was not short on trying to create anything from my story. However, Portia, on the other hand, as you see, was grasping for straws.
Mm. Ooh, we
And
child.
that's
Okay, Drew. So, what I also wanted to talk about, as we just mentioned, Ralph, we're not going to talk about him so much, but what I did like to see this season was your mom. And your mom came through like moms come through, and blunt, this is what it is. This is how I feel about it. A, B, C, D, the whole gamut. But what was more emotional was her, speaking about how it's affected you, the family, and the children. And what does it mean to have your mom filming with you this season and supporting you on camera more this season? And hopefully, has things gotten better between the family and the home life since that was filmed about a year ago, correct?
right. It was almost a year ago. I mean, I love when mommy comes. Mommy has been consistent every season. And this is how she is in my real life. She shows up no matter what I need, drop of a dime, she is there. And she has great wisdom. Mommy was married for what, 60 years until my dad passed away. And so she's a pastor, she's just always coming from a place of love and spirit. And she always wants the best for her family. So for me to have her here, it was just like, you're gonna get the real, even if it's the hard truth. She never holds back. And in that moment, in that scene, it really caught me off guard because this wasn't something that we ever discussed beforehand. It wasn't something that she had been saying. She literally came here and saw what she saw, and then we're having this conversation on camera, and she's making her assessment. And I was choked up because that's like my worst fear, is that the kids are being affected. Because as a
Yeah.
mom, all I try to do is protect my kids, keep them happy. I mean, I go into overdrive trying to make sure they're happy and do for them and do more and do more. It's like I don't feel like I can do enough in just an effort to protect them and really make sure that they're okay. So to hear that, it was just like my worst nightmare. And obviously, you see the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just really still pushing forward. All the kids are doing better. They're in therapy. Their grades are better. They're happy. And my mom was just here not too long ago, and she was like, "This was the best trip that she's had in a while." And so for that, I'm grateful. So it's moving in a positive.
Well, that's something I love to hear because when we saw that this past Sunday, I just, Lord Jesus, like one thing about the mamas, I don't play about them, okay? Because I love my mama. Hey, mama, I know
Yeah,
you watching.
mommy is everything. Love Mama J. Okay.
Yeah, we don't play about mamas, okay? Now, have you introduced your children to your new children, which is your album, your babies, the songs? Do they have any favorites on the album, or is it too grown for them and they can't listen to it just yet?
No, obviously they've heard it, me listening to it and listening to my mixes, and they're there. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what do y'all think? Actually, they're my little A&Rs. If I see them bop into it, I'm like, okay, this might be a hit. They
Okay.
definitely love Delulu, I would say, is their favorite song.
The Lulu. Okay, I would show you a clip of me singing it, but we're not gonna do all that. Okay.
Oh, we
You're the
need that.
vocal
Let's get
baby.
right
Yes.
there, huh?
The
We need
Lulu.
all of that. Okay. You
No,
need to send that to me in a separate private chat.
I will send that to you because it's actually hilarious. But what I wanted to say was one of my favorite song lyrics from the album. Since you stated that you put your life story into it, and I wanted to ask you about the lyrics. Is now you're gonna you're gonna gag when I say the lyric. Ready? This gonna be the last time I let an end do me wrong. F these ends and the business that they standing on. I might go lesbian. F and N best friend. That's from one of your songs on the album. Now you just had a Carlos King interview that
Mhm.
dropped, and you admitted that you and Ty had moments of flirtation, but nothing inappropriate. Because you're still going through your separation in your marriage. However, on Basketball Wives, Ming Lee, who is surprisingly a friend to a lot of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, um, has said that that was a bone of contention in her relationship with Ty, your closeness to her. What did you think about Ming Lee saying that that was one of the deal breakers, was how close you were, considering all of that?
Another person grasping for straws in a storyline is what I gather. Because what else do you have going on? If you have to use my name, because she came over to Real Housewives and she was coming trying. You got glimpses. She was trying hard and it didn't work out for her. So she just went on down there, what I'm saying, down there, and was like, I got to sell. I got something to sell. I got something to say. Listen, she was never around when Ty and I were friends. Like she was never around. She wasn't around. They didn't know each other. And since, Ty and I don't speak as often anymore, we're still friends and that hasn't changed, but we don't talk as often. It's just been a lot of life happening. So since they have been together, Ty and I have not seen each other. We don't spend time talking. I've been working on a whole album. So
Yeah.
there's not enough minutes in the day that she's explaining that she is alleging. It just wasn't true. And so like I say, a lot of people get on these cameras and they feel like they got to say something that is going to get them a moment. And I'm sorry, I didn't know I was that much of that girl. I'm really clickbait. Is that what's happening?
Did you get a
Because
check?
obviously out, but it just wasn't any truth behind it. So
Yeah.
you
Okay.
got to be careful
Now,
in Atlanta. Be careful in Atlanta. People will
oh,
grab you up and say your name a million times for a moment. And I've never had to do that. I've been in front of cameras my whole life. So it is a little shocking when I do keep seeing this go on and on, even from a year ago.
yeah. Now, Mimi has stated that she felt that Ty was an opportunist, Mimi Faust. And I
Mm.
think Claudia Jordan did feel the same as well. Uh, you're saying that you haven't experienced her in that way. Am I correct?
I listen, everyone's experience is everyone's experience. Their experience of Ty is not mine. I think Ty is a very cool girl. Um, she's an ex WNBA player. I think she's made great accomplishments in her life. So I can't say for certain that she's an opportunist. I think she's had a great career for herself. And she's shown me nothing but support and just really been a good friend. Like, I can't say anything negative. She was dating Ming Lee. So, I mean, whatever they're doing is their business. But yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought that Ty would be somewhat of an opportunist.
Now, this particular episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta that just passed opens up as we just previously finished talking about Portia and Shamia meeting with Ralph. But by the end of the episode, they're meeting with each other and they're not in a great place. You've been up close and personal to this friendship. You had the pinky promise of doom with Shamia regarding what she's felt, about her friendship with Portia. Do you see them reconciling from your lens, or is it going too far now that moms are being involved and it's just getting out of hand? Social media posts.
Yeah, I was like, where was the moms actually mentioned? It wasn't. I didn't see anything, nor have I heard anything that is so detrimental that I don't see them being able to make amends. But again, we don't know all the ins and outs nor everything because I never knew that there was any issue. Honestly, I know Shamia was saying that some of the girls were prying into their friendship and alleging maybe their friendship wasn't as great as they were trying to make it appear to be. I never saw that. I thought that they were just besties and two peas in a pod all this time that I've been around. But when Shamia did have us pinky promise and share this, information and these feelings, I encourage Shamia to communicate. I feel like in any friendship, it's important to talk to your friend, which, as you saw me attempt to talk to Portia multiple times. And so I can say to Shamia's defense, you know, maybe Shamia has tried to have these conversations and Portia just wasn't in a place to ever want to hear it. And I think that's just an unhealthy practice that I've experienced with Portia. You got to be able to sit down and talk about it. Like, why are you running away as a grown woman, running away from your so-called friend? And so I have said this many times, maybe Portia and I weren't as good of friends as I thought we were, you know, because a real one and a real girl's gonna pick up the phone and be like, girl, I didn't like what you did. They're gonna call you out on your shit, you know. Hold my feet to the fire if I do something, because I'm not perfect. But I just felt like even how Portia handled our friendship wasn't cool. And so if this is how she's doing me, it doesn't surprise me, you know, that she would treat her friendships that way. And it's unfortunate because I think we have seen Shamia show up and be a great friend to her. But I think there's also a line where you can only be such of a good friend to where you need to also start standing up for yourself. Hence is why I do refer to Shamia as a lapdog, because if you're not standing up for yourself, who are you standing up for? You can't stand up for somebody so much that you suffer. It's giving, this is my master, you know, and I'm on a leash, and I just don't subscribe to those type of friendships.
I hear that. So you're standing firm, 10 toes down, an album down on the fact that you feel like Shamia has relegated herself to Portia's lapdog.
Absolutely. And for years, you know, and I'm hoping that Shamia will stand on business and really speak her truth.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Shamia, she spoke something with other new housewife Kelly. There's been an influx of new housewives this season, bringing new energy into the show. And Kelly and Shamia seem to have a newfound friendship, which has been fun to watch. However, they on the after show said that their song for you will be called "Busting It for Some Beats," busting it down for some beats after the alleged text message that was sent that you have said is not true. So I wanted to ask you, what would be your song for Shamia and Kelly? Oh God. Okay, good.
Hey.
Hey, no.
Hey.
Drew Sidora, you are off glass. I cannot. Well, off glass, slip and slide records. It makes sense. Oh my God, that is insane. So that's your song. So who's singing lead? Who's doing the backgrounds on it? Or do they both have a lead verse?
I mean, the way that it's given, they're just both at the same time. Like, I'm starting not to be able to tell Kelly from Shamia from Kelly anymore. They're like morphing into one person. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go.
Oh Lord Jesus. Oh God.
Somebody had it, please.
Drew. So there's another new housewife. Her name is Britt Edie. Now, we all know about the Britt Edie and Kenya Moore of it all. Britt has felt that there are certain members of this group that took Kenya's side in this. And so she came into the peace brunch with her back up and her wall up. But in that same peace brunch, she also stated that her insurance license was suspended. And then she had to later recant after Angela, you know, asked her about it, recant that it wasn't suspended. It was actually under investigation. Do you think that that is manipulative, or did you think that that was just a Freudian slip, like she just had a slip?
Yeah, I just feel like it was her really trying to gain sympathy because it was like, was her license in jeopardy? Was it not? She said it was, but then we found out it wasn't, you know? So it was like, girl, you know, it's okay. Like, we all agreed that Kenya should not have done what she did in the manner in which she did it, right? We can all agree on that. However, a lot of people have done things that probably weren't the best, you know? And I think what makes and what has made this show successful and this group of girls and women so iconic is because you can go to the lowest of lows and come together and talk about your differences and somehow find your way back to some form of a friendship. And so I just felt like they deserved that. I feel like with Britt threatening Kenya with a weapon and Kenya doing what she did, which I feel both were wrong, I feel like it would have been fair for them to be able to have a sit down and talk about it instead of making it this isolation. You know what I'm saying? Of Kenya. I really hated that for our group. I hated that for Kenya. It just wasn't handled properly, I feel. So it was unfortunate. I feel like in this group of women, you got to put on your big girl panties and be able to use your words to express yourself. We cannot make threats amongst the group with weapons and then cry victim the whole season. It's like we got to be able to sit down as grown women and talk about our differences.
Yeah, I totally agree. Normally, we would have seen in the past, you guys have some sort of conversation or them have a one-on-one conversation, and we didn't really get that. I think that I would have hoped that eventually, once sides cooled down, we could have gotten some resolve and kept moving forward because I do feel like after watching the past 2 to 3 seasons, that this has been the best effort so far. I think this is one of your best seasons so far, and I really was excited for the new group and all the intricacies and details of how you guys know each other. Like we kind of were robbed of that in a little bit, and that's because I think that all parties weren't, in my opinion, held accountable to a degree to where we could have moved forward and watched it play out. So I was a little disappointed as
Yeah,
well as a viewer not being able to see
yeah,
the whole thing pan out.
exactly.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the hair spa, and then we're going to move on. There was a scene where you and Brittany, Brittany, excuse me, you and Britt, the infamous "Did you sell it?" the cat scene, where she asks you about a comment you made to the girls, saying that the person who allegedly Britt may have been rocking the mic on that poster too, DM'd you about it. Now, your longtime assistant slash friend, I don't know where you guys stand today, Anthony says that allegedly he heard it was Young Berg, and you just came out on Carlos King and said that your roster was, nice, and allegedly, well, not allegedly, you said that Hitmaker was a former, suitor of yours. Where does all of this melt together, or is this just happenstance?
Yeah, I mean, we were all there. We saw who was on the poster board. Um, Anthony and I, if anybody knows me, knows that Anthony and I, we've had a lot of drama going on. So
Yeah.
he most definitely didn't hear anything from me.
Mhm.
But that was a headline. A headline is a headline. But yeah, no, anybody that knows Anthony and our dynamics knows like he didn't talk to me. But at the end of the day, yes, I did see people on the poster board, and certain people found out and DM'd me. And for the sake of, whatever they have going on legally, I just was like, you know what? It's not even important. It doesn't matter because obviously this is something that was damaging to her career. And as y'all have seen, I'm not here to ever kick somebody when they're down. That's just not
Yeah.
who I am and what my spirit is. So for
Mhm.
that reason, I feel like Britt has to speak her truth though. And that was
Yeah.
kind of my disappointment in her this season was like, girl, like y'all see, I'm an open book. Nobody has been able to say too much about me that I'm not willing to say for myself. And I think that on this platform, you have to be willing to be honest and speak your truth. A lot of these girls, they talk about what's going on in their life, but you actually see what's going on with my life. You see Ralph and all of the madness. You see my kids, you see my mom, you see my sister, and we have let you guys into a very intimate part of my life. And so for that reason, it's like you got to be willing to open up about your past and your present. And that's important when you come on this show. And so for Britt, I just feel like she has to talk about her truth and be willing to talk about those things so that someone else doesn't go dig it up and do what Kenya did, which is never okay. And that's just what I would say to Britt as a piece of advice with being a part of this circle.
Yeah. Now, another new part of the circle is Angela. Angela is your ride or die. We're loving the Angela and Drew of it all, and the way that you guys calculate. We haven't seen you kiki or calculate this really, in my opinion, on the show at all. And so you stated that you've been trying to get Angela on the show for years. One thing about Angela that has been a source of conversation for the viewers is her relationship with Charles. So is there something that is not translating through the screen or that the fans are misunderstanding from your lens, since you know them both?
I'm from Chicago, okay? Like people gotta understand. Even when it comes to me, I love to joke, and I just feel like people just be too serious. Like people really need to laugh a lot more and just be a little more gentle. Like Charles is a straight shooter. You know, that's what I gather. When I'm at their house, like Charles is in that kitchen, he's on that grill, he's making us plates, he's making us drinks. Like he's a great guy, and he loves his wife. That's all I have seen. You know, he is a family man. I have nothing but the utmost respect. So I'm like, all of this Charles heat and smoke, I'm like, y'all gotta understand a man when you see one. You gotta understand a real shooter. He's not putting on for the cameras. And I think people need to appreciate that. You know, that's what you're getting from the Oakleys.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the Oakleys, they've definitely came in and made a splash. We're glad to have them here. So thank you for doing your part
Yeah.
in trying to get them here for all these seasons. We greatly appreciate it. Another person coming back is Phaedra Parks. Now, Phaedra has made some comments in the press, about whether or not, you tell the truth. And then we also see that there's going to be Phaedra and Angela's issue coming up in the next couple of episodes for the remainder of the season. What did you think about Phaedra's return, and where do you think Angela and Phaedra will go moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, Phaedra is an OG. And I always give respect to the OGs that were here before me because they are the ones that started it all. But I will say my thoughts on Phaedra is she just needs to focus on staying here. You know, now that she's back, I think her focus needs to be on staying, back. So that's what I'll say to that. And as far as her and Angela, I feel like I was just confused on how they, didn't get a chance to hit it off on the right foot. I do hope always in this group of friends that people can get through whatever their issues are. I think I missed some things that happened, so I'm gonna be watching with y'all, having my popcorn ready because
Yeah.
when we got to finale, I was like, what did I miss and how did we get here? So there's gonna be a lot of things uncovered, but I definitely am gonna be tuned in because so much in this group. And one thing I can say about this season, it was a lot going on. Always, it was a lot going on for everybody, to the point where there were things that I'm learning for the first time sitting back watching with you guys. So that's what I'll say to that. We just got to keep tuning in and watching, and I'm really looking forward to the reunion.
I was going to ask you about the reunion because allegedly you guys film it in a couple of weeks. So, who do you think will have the most to answer for at the reunion? And Angela also said that she feels that when she goes and she has things to address, she really wants you to have her back. So, can we expect you to have her back? And who do you think will have the most to answer for at the reunion?
Yeah, I feel like, at the end of the day, I've had Angela's back, in this group. And I'm going to continue to have her back. I feel like, but Angela doesn't really need me to have her back. Angela can stand, like she said, in her size 12 shoes. She's going to be all right. But I think for me, the person that's going to have the most to answer for me is definitely Portia, because she never talked, the whole season. It was like mute challenge. So I'm hoping that Portia is going to, be able to communicate and use her big girl words to express herself because I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
Alrighty, so moving from there, where do you see the group moving forward to in season 17, and who do you see moving forward with that group and possibly falling by the wayside?
Honestly, since I've been here, it has never been the same group twice. It's always been a different cast. So I honestly never know what to expect
Yeah.
from one season to another. So we shall see. I think that the fans are definitely tuning into this new season, and there's a lot that needs to be resolved. So I feel like no one should just get off scot-free. I think the ladies need to be able to come back and answer to a lot of the drama that we saw.
Yes. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do, we're going to play one final game. And this game, are you ready for it? It's
Okay.
called Drop It with Drew. And let me tell you what it's going to be, right? So the Drop It with Drew game that me and you are going to play is you're just going to go ahead and tell us one thing that you would like the fans, the viewers, and the ladies to drop. Like, just drop it. You're tired of hearing of it. You don't want to hear it no more. You are tired of it. You must be Delulu if you keep talking about it. Drop it with Drew. So, Drew, what is your drop it with Drew?
We need to drop this Dennis and Drew storyline, and just go pick up "I Did It to Me" the album, okay? Because that definitely dropped, and that's what we need to be talking about. Not this madness with Dennis and Drew, because it's a dead end. I think they need to drop this whole tie situation, because this is getting tied. We're tired of hearing about it. We need to drop it. We need to drop this whole fictitious idea that Drew is a liar, because that was a scheme that was set up last season. And if you recall, I was vindicated in that whole Drew liar situation with Candy. That I was vindicated. So if you don't know, you need to go back and watch. Okay, people need to stay up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and be educated.
On the story.
Because
That's what I call it.
There's
The
a lot of
story.
girls. Yeah, what are we doing? Because y'all just carrying old stuff to this season, so you have something to say. But there's been no lies told to these women, and if you ask them, they can't cough up what Drew actually lied about. So we need to drop that as well, because I'm the truth teller. That's why I'm still here and was the last peach standing. Okay.
Oh, we catch that dirt. Well, Drew Sidora, I want to thank you for lending us your time, giving us your opinions, giving us your art, which is your music, and kicking it with us over here at No Chaser TV. We do greatly appreciate it. And is there anything more that we can look for from the music side? Are there any tours coming up, any shows coming up, any live performances? Is there an actual dreadhead in the new music video for Delulu? Like, what's going on? Give us the rundown of what we can expect.
I know, right? What is going on? Well, actually, I have a show in Philly, so Lancaster. I'll see you there on May 30th. And yes, I have a tour I just announced. So your girl will be going on a 10-city tour. I will be dropping those cities very, very soon. So just keep following me for updates on Instagram. And of course, my new television series, Mind Your Business, with legendary Columbus Short, is dropping June 2nd on Bounce TV. And y'all, we gotta get to gold. We gotta get to gold. I Did It to Me. We are like teetering gold. So I just want everyone to continue to stream and support I Did It to Me album.
Okay, so we're gonna go for the gold. No Sonya Richards, no shade to her, but we're gonna go for the gold for this album and push that album to gold. She's going on tour, so make sure you catch her in one of the cities near you. Now, will you be bringing Candace alongside with you on the tour?
We're gonna give it to her like she gave it to me. She's gonna stay on home. She's going to keep caring for her beautiful baby, and maybe we'll catch her on the next one. We'll see.
Okay, whoop, there it is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here to No Chaser TV. Thank you so much, Drew Sidora, and hopefully we'll see you soon when you're on tour. All righty. Yeah, ooh. I'm joking. I'm joking.